Brian. Hey, Dad. It's a shame we couldn't be at the Connerly tonight, but I was thinking about something earlier. As I probably say too much, I am not a native Mississippian, but I have lived here 12 years now. So I'm on year 13. Been here a while. And I have learned a lot of things about Mississippi that I didn't know growing up or even really like in college. How influential this otherwise really small state. We're a small state population-wise, fewer than 3 million people. Don't have a big city center. There's a lot of great things here, but it's not like Mississippi is known as like this big state with this big, giant city and all this stuff. We're kind of a small, unassuming state until you dig in on it. Like music, for example. Elvis aside, the originator of American rock and roll, right? Him aside, even
right.
The king, the Mississippi Delta blues influenced worldwide music in a way that's hard to believe. Like two of my favorite bands, most iconic bands in music, the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin, would not have been who they are without the Mississippi blues. And they attribute their influences to that. You've got the same thing in literature. And not just Grisham, right? Even modern literature to this day. Greg Iles, you'd be shocked at the number of authors that have come through this state, and poets and novelists, and you have it in entertainment. I mean, the amount of people that are in movies and TV that all come from, the influence that Mississippi has is crazy.
We're awesome. I get it. I get the point.
We're
awesome here in Mississippi.
And we do that in football, too. In other states, like the one I grew up in, there's a rich FCS history of football in South Carolina with the Citadel and Furman and Wofford, but everything's about Clemson and South Carolina. Now, don't get me wrong, like Ole Miss and State also have iconic players and moments and stuff, but it's not just Ole Miss and State. It's Valley, it's Alcorn, it's JSU. The influence or the power in football that has come from this state is just like the same power that this state has had on the music industry, that's had on literature. For such a small, unassuming place that people turn their noses up at, we kind of dictate the culture in this great country. It's remarkable to think about because, I'm reading the releases about the Connerly and the players that have won it and the schools and stuff. Maybe other states have a history like this and I'm just ignorant to them. I would be surprised if per capita anybody can top what Mississippi has done on the football field.
I mean, just from an NFL standpoint, you can make a legitimate case that the best running back, the best wide receiver, and the best defensive lineman of all time played at Mississippi schools. And that's Walter Payton, Jerry Rice, and Deacon Jones. I mean, you're not going to find people nobody's really going to argue about Rice, I don't think. Peyton wouldn't get much of an argument, and Deacon Jones, a lot of great defensive linemen, but he's going to be towards the top. And on top of all the rest of the Hall of Famers that have come through all of our schools. And now you look at the NFL today, and there's huge stars from Mississippi at every position. And, it goes without saying, we've said it so many times, that if this state was like Louisiana or Arkansas, and you just had the one major university, if you combine State, Southern, and Ole Miss, that's a team that would contend year in, year out for the national championship.
Annually.
There's just no question.
Oh, yeah.
You go back to the year that always stands out to me is 2018, when State has the number one defense in the country. All right, now can they have A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf and those guys with that on offense? And then all of a sudden, now who's beating that team? So, it's kind of our burden to bear, but you're right. This state, year in, year out, produces some top quality guys and this year is no exception with some of the guys that are nominated for this award. You've got Quinshon Judkins, who, when his time comes, will be a first-round pick.
Led the SEC in rushing this year.
Emmanuel Forbes, who was absolutely snubbed today by the Thorpe Award. What an absolute joke that was for him not even be a finalist. Leads the nation in interceptions and pick sixes. 3 catches allowed this year in man coverage. 3 in 12 games. But he's not a finalist for that. And never mind winning the award, which he should do anyway. but Forbes will be an NFL player. Jason Brownlee, an outstanding receiver for Southern Miss. He's a guy who I could see playing at the next level. Just a guy who catches the ball when it's thrown to him, which is great. And then you have all the great small school guys. And, of course, you have Shedeur Sanders, who might be the biggest name in the state, to be totally honest with you. Never mind that he's Deion's son. He's a great quarterback, and he led his team to an undefeated season. What more can you ask for from a guy?
So if you don't mind, and if you want to answer no comment, that's fine. How did you vote?
I'm not supposed to reveal that until after the.
That is what that said.
Yeah. So let's just say that the fan base that is most closely associated with me will probably be unhappy with me.
Well, they kind of tend to be unhappy.
They hate me regardless. It doesn't matter. It's like they want me to be unbiased, but then they want me to be a homer too. So
they want
it's tough. It's a tough line to walk.
They want the truth, but they want their truth, not the. They
want their version of the truth. So, yeah. But that's how I'll be happy to reveal my vote when they announce the winner later tonight. But my guess is everybody's ballot, outside of a few, was some combination of Quinshon Judkins, Shedeur Sanders, and Emmanuel Forbes. Yeah. There'll be some votes for all of the guys on the list, I'm sure, but that's going to be the top three, in my opinion.
My guess, for some reason, I think that Judkins is going to win tonight, for whatever that's worth. I think he's going to win. Yeah. But,
I think so as well.
There are people that want to show love to not Ole Miss and State, and I understand why, because there's more than two teams that play football in this state. There's a really good chance to give this award to not the Ole Miss or State guy with Sanders. Like, if a voter wanted to, all right, look, Ole Miss and State have really good players because they play in the SEC. They're the most popular teams in the state, But we have a guy that you can vote for him.
I would not argue with
justify
anybody.
Yeah.
I would not argue with anyone who voted for Sanders first. Would not. Like I said, the guy was his stats are great, better than any quarterback in the state, even better than Will Rogers, and won every game he played in. I mean, you can't do a whole lot more than that.
Yeah. Chase on the text line says, of all the GOAT debates, greatest wide receivers, the only one I refuse to even listen to unless the person says Jerry Rice.
I mean, that's the way it should be. Absolutely. The gap for Rice between the number two guy is so great, I don't know who to put at number two. Like, if you said Moss, okay. Said
sure,
like Don Hudson from back in the day, sure, I can get behind that. There are a lot of guys who could be number two. There's only one guy who could be number one.
That's exclusively